Yes, this is the Bible Quiz Internet podcast, SCQANIT review after 4 rounds. Thank you so kindly for joining us. Here we are. Like I said, 4 rounds. Unfortunately, my team that I was championing. However you say that word, I was their champion today. I was supporting them. I thought they were going to do really well. FBCLB has been eliminated, as has Tabernacle 3 and Falls 4, which leaves us with 12 teams, 4 without a low. Those 4 are McQuantigo, Heritage, Easley, Falls. Falls gets the bye because they have 4 high wins. Heritage had 4 quizzes, but it was 2 highs and 2 middles. McQuantigo had 4 quizzes, but it was 1 high and 3 middles. I sometimes getting the bye right now. Falls 1 got the bye. They earned that bye. Sometimes getting the bye right now is not as beneficial as you might think. You say, well, why is that? Because later on they'll have fewer quizzes. They may not get the bye later. Uh, I mean, you're at the final 4 teams without a low, so it's not as if the quizzes later are going to be harder. But sometimes you appreciate a break later in the day, whereas before lunch everyone's spry and ready to go. So not always the case, but sometimes the case that's kind of how that goes. There are 8 teams left with a low. Temple, Tennessee, uh, had an amazing quiz last round. They had 230 points against Progress, which is another of the teams I am championing. Apparently, I just can't say that word. Another of the teams I was rallying the cry for. Uh, but and then and against Falls 4, who was then eliminated. So they had 230. You say, well, how'd they get 230? Well, they had the round off before that, and they lost to Falls 1 and 2 the round before that. So lost to Falls 1 and 2, had a round off, and then did really well. I'm seeing a pattern here that teams that have a bye tend to come back with either reckless abandon and get lows, or they come back and quiz their best quiz and get highs. And that's I mean, maybe I'm not saying much by saying they're either doing really well or really poorly, but you know, teams coming off of a bye do that. We also have Progress, uh, Ridgeview, and New Testament. New Testament and so easily to a New Testament. Those are the 2 teams that we talked about earlier, got early lows that we didn't expect, and then there they are. So they're both still in it. We have 12 teams left, 4 without a low. We are about to eliminate 4 more teams. So going after lunch, there will only be 8 teams left, 2 without a low, 6 with 1 low. Uh, if I did the math on that correctly, and I think I did. So that means there's going to be 2 quizzes right after lunch. The 2 teams will be eliminated, and then we go to where we mix the teams with a low and the teams without a low. So doing really well. Again, those are the 12 teams left. We'll try to keep you updated during lunch. We'll do an elongated special. I want to let you get back to watching Mr. Douglas's quizzes in the auditorium. This has been the BibleQuizzer.net podcast. See ya.